guys, welcome back to Funworld and Art. I'm Amisha and today we're going to be painting this Reach for the Stars painting. This is an inspirational / happy birthday painting. You can write anything you want in the center. I wrote an inspirational phrase, but the one that I'm going to make today is going to be a happy birthday one, which you can give to any of your friends who are big galaxy nerds or they just love space or anything like that. I love space and it's galaxies or there's stars, so I will reach for the stars. But you can write anything, like dream big, and I'm gonna write happy birthday today. This is very simple painting, so let's get started. First, I will show you what you need. The first thing you will be needing is of course a canvas. The canvas I am using is a 12 by 9 inch canvas. You can have any size, but mine is 9 by 12 inch. You will also be needing a compass to draw your circle. The radius of the circle may vary depending on the size of your canvas. Since mine was a 9 by 12, my radius was 4 inches. Yours can vary depending on the size of your canvas. So the diameter was 8 and the radius was 4. The thing you will be needing is masking tape. I'm using this. Next thing you will be needing is an X-Acto knife. So the reason you will be needing these two, I will show you in a minute. You will also need a palette. If you don't have a palette, you can use a paint or paper palette. So here's my palette. I'm going to be using the colors white, golden, dark purple, dark blue, and bright blue. You will also, of course, be needing a black. The next thing you will be needing are some fine tip paintbrushes and one extra fat paintbrush to paint the black. I'm using these fine tip paintbrushes. You don't have to have this many, but I just have a lot of fine tips. But these aren't exactly fine, but that's okay. You will also be needing a couple of fat tip brushes so that you can paint this little effect right here. You will also be needing some sort of sponge to get this sort of effect. I'm using this sponge from this sponge that you use to wash dishes. I just borrowed this from my mom's kitchen. And if you don't have this sort of sponge, you can also use a sofa cushion. Of course, you will be needing some water and a paper towel. Mine's is dirty because I reused them just to save paper towels, but you can use whatever you want. So now let's get started. So here I have my 9 by 12 inch canvas. You're probably wondering, what in the world is going on? Well, as you can see, I have used this masking tape to cover the whole entire canvas. Then, I used my compass to draw my circle in the center. After that, I used my X-Acto knife to just cut out the circle, and I just removed all the excess tape. This is because you want to preserve the circle on the inside so that it's white when you take the tape off and you don't have to worry about getting anything inside. Then you just paint the whole canvas black. It's probably hard to see the masking tape on camera, but I promise you that it is there. So the first step is you have to take your sponge, like I'm using this one right here. You have to take your paint. The first color of paint you will take is dark blue. And you will just dip the sponge in there. You will just start making these. Now these can be like different shapes because you want that like nice galaxy effect. So here we go. If you run out of paint like here, instead of grabbing more, just take it from the top because the top normally has a lot of paint depending on where you started. I started on the top. Don't worry about making it perfect because not all galaxies are perfect, especially our Milky Way galaxy. Now I'm done with the dark blue, so I'll take my palette and I'll grab some light blue. Don't want to add too much light blue, just like highlight it a bit in the dark blue so that it doesn't stay so incredibly dark. So like as you see, when the dark blue and light blue overlap, they become this like beautiful blue. So that's a really cool effect. go a little crazy with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the thing I like best about this type of painting. You can't really mess it up because it's just a galaxy, and it can be any galaxy. Really, it doesn't have to be our Milky Way. I'm done with the light blue, so I'm just going to take a teensy bit of dark blue again. Promise this is the last time. And I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight this blue in certain areas. Done with this, and my sponge is kind of dirty. What I did here was I used my X-Acto knife to just like slice some of the sponge. If you don't have an X-Acto knife, you can also use scissors for this. And then like I just used scissors to cut the sponge in. Here I have prepared like a couple cubes so that I can alternate and I don't have to use the same dirty sponge over again. So now I can just throw the sponge away. Now I'll start using my new one. The next color you want is, I forgot to mention, but you should also grab a magenta or a pink. This is because it'll give your purple and blue a nice pop when they mix together, so it isn't just very dark. We need a little bit of pink though. And this pink isn't necessary if you don't have it, but if you have it, it will be a nice pop of color. Next, I'm just going to take my sponge, and it doesn't have any color on it. You want to make sure it has no color, and it's completely dry, and your color still should be wet. You're just going to use it to like blend your colors out of it so that they blend in nicely with the next color we're going to add. Next color we're going to add is purple. So take your palette and add just a hint of purple. You want to start very little. Just start far away from the blue and start down. Then later we'll get closer to the blue, but you always want to start far from the blue. Next, when you have added the purple on the edges far away from the blue, you want to kind of start to bring the purple in with the blue. Next, when you have the purple, you want to take your blue, and you should have left a little bit of black when you added in your purple. You want to take your pink, and we're just going to fill in the spots, but you only want to take a little. Like, this is way too much. Just wipe it off. You only want a little, because we're just going to, you see how hard that comes on? Because with the sponge, when you take paint, the sponge absorbs the paint, so you don't really notice how much paint is on until you actually put it on the canvas or your paper. This is a very nice gift if it's your friend's birthday, like if your friends are visiting, they live far away, or you just want to give your friend a nice thing, or maybe it's your parents' birthday and you don't know what to get them. Remember, the best gifts are always the ones that come from the heart, which is the ones that are handmade. Because when you buy anything from a store, it doesn't have your effort in it. See how little paint I've taken? And see how dark that comes on? You want to take a little. Now say you took a lot of paint and then you did something like that. That's okay. You just use that to spread that pink or any color everywhere, and don't take any more. Next, when you think you're good, just take a clean sponge and just, actually first, if you see the purple has kind of like disappeared, so for that, just take a little bit of purple and just splash it on the outside, blend it in with the pink. Now some parts you may want to like have some purple streaking out so that it looks like it's a galaxy. Remember, this can be however you want because space is just space. You never know how it looks. So now, as you can see, I'm done here. So I'm going to take a clean sponge and I'm just going to use it to blend everything. But don't blend everything too much. You still want the colors a bit separate, just so that they go well together. Okay, now you can, but not unexpected if you've been watching our videos for a long time, but you are gonna need a, drum roll please, toothbrush, the thing you use to brush your teeth with. You're probably wondering, have you gone mad? What are you going to do with a toothbrush? Well, I'm going to make stars because I personally don't have the time or patience to take a paintbrush and make teeny tiny dots all day. So what you can do with this is you take your toothbrush and remember that white? I'm going to use the white for the stars. You take your toothbrush and you just dip it in some water so that it's just a little wet. You're going to take your white, you're going to load your brush with that white. See? And then you're just going to So now, as you can see, I've loaded my toothbrush, and the best thing with this is that you can reuse the toothbrush. So I always keep one toothbrush, one or two in my paintbrushes because it's just really helpful to make stars. So next you're going to take your finger. You want to practice on the side of it first, and you're just going to practice flicking some stars with your toothbrush. You might want to practice on the side of it or in the center, and then you can go on with the real painting. So I'm just going to start on the top. Don't go crazy because I've gone a little star crazy a couple of times. But this is nice little squirts, and remember, no star is perfect because all stars look different. So it doesn't really matter how your stars turn out. Some stars are different. Okay, as you can see, I've added my stars here and here. And now I'm going to take a very thin paintbrush, and at the bottom, I'm going to load the bottom with a little white. I'm just going to add some little white dots everywhere just so that it looks like there are some big stars too. All stars are different sizes. Okay, and now you can wait for this to dry, and you can take off the tape in the center. So I will see you in a bit when this is dry. So now we're going to take the tape off. In order to take the tape off, take your X-Acto knife and just slightly start to peel on the edges. And then you can just take it off. As you can see, I've taken the tape off and it's white except for these, which is okay. And now if you see, there are some little paints that made it under the tape. So in order to fix that and make it look a bit more spectacular, we're going to take one of our fine tip brushes. Though this is not very fine, my bristles are kind of out of order. So it's okay though. You're going to take some light blue paint, just very little, and you're going to start to just outline the edges, as so. Okay, now I have outlined my circle mainly. I'm just adding the finishing touches, and now we're just going to let this dry, so we'll see you in a bit. Okay, I actually forgot, but you do not want the colors to dry. You want them to be a little wet. You're going to take your fine tip brush. Well, I'm not going to take a fine tip. I'm going to take this brush, which is kind of fine tip. I'm going to dip it in just a little water, wipe it off. Then I'm going to use the water to just kind of bring the color outward, so like you get that watercolor effect. You want to make like little circles. So it looks like one of those moonstone rocks. Okay, now I have done that part, and you get like this sort of moonstone effect. And now you just let that dry, and then we're going to add in our gold border. So I will see you guys in a bit. So now my colors have dried, so I'm going to write happy birthday. written happy birthday, and I'm just gonna dot my I and my paintbrush, and there we go. Now let's make the border. So now I have written happy birthday and outlined the painting. So now it's time for the last part, which you don't have to do, but it makes you feel, well, it makes me feel more confident about my artwork, but I'm gonna sign my artwork. Yeah, I'm just doing my initials. My name is 6 letters, which is quite hard to fit at the very bottom. So it's kind of hard to write with a paintbrush. Just underline mine. And there you have it. Now this is how you make your happy birthday painting. Remember, if you don't want to write happy birthday, you can write anything you want. You can write your name if it's a room decoration, or you can write an inspirational saying like this one, or just anything. So here are the side-by-side comparisons. They're both really awesome, but I think I like this one a bit more, just because the writing's a bit more neat. And yeah, that's the end of today's video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, give us a big thumbs up. Let us know in the comments down below what you want to see in future video. And as always, it would be very much appreciated if you could subscribe so we'll get motivated to make more paintings. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye!